Hello everyone, it is the Panda Planeswalker here, and today as my very first video, I'm going to be giving you a special standard deck that I've been brewing for quite a while now, and it's finally finished so far. I've taken this to the last few FNMs and have always gotten the top 4 spots, and I'm fighting Bant Company, humans, red aggro, Esper Dragons, those kind of things, and I've still beaten them and I've won. Um, and funny enough, I've only ever lost really to another homebrew deck. But pretty much what this is red-green werewolves. And what I know some of you are saying, well, these guys must not be playing their decks properly or something. There's not that much support for werewolves, so why are you playing it? Reason is, I love werewolves. I've loved them since the original Innistrad, and I'm going to continue to play werewolves as long as they're standard. And I might even build a modern deck eventually for them. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what this deck is, what it's about, and go from there. Alright, so werewolf cards are pretty straightforward. You play them, and if no one's played a spell during the next turn, or so on and so on, they transform. But if a player has cast 2 or more spells in one turn, they transform back into humans. Um, you really want to get your guys transformed, but you can win without transforming them in this deck. But again, you really want to transform them though, because it makes it so much easier and so much funner. Um, but I'm going to start now with the lands, your basic lands first. Alright, so now we're going to start with our basic lands and our non-basic lands. Basic lands, pretty simple. 8 mountains, 9 forests. The reason is you're running just a little bit more green than you are of red, so you want that extra forest. Next, we're going to be running 2 Cinderglade and 4 Game Trail. Reason why you're not running 4 Cinderglade is because Game Trails really is the land you want on turn 1. And Cinderglade comes in tapped unless you have 2 or more basic lands. When I'm running Cinderglade instead of Timberforge, because of that same reason. Timberforge will always come in tapped. Cinderglade might not. But again, 2 Cinderglade, 4 Game Trail, 8 mountains, 9 forests. It's pretty simple. Alright, now we're going to get on to the main part of the deck, our werewolves. We're going to start off with a 1-drop playset of it. It's going to be our only 1-drop creature in the deck, Village Messenger. It's a 1-red, 1/1 haste human werewolf that when it flips, it becomes a 2/2 with menace. This is one of the best early game, actually this is the best early game card you can get. Game Trail, reveal basic land, hit with a Village Messenger for 1. Next turn, it comes back to you. Unless they're playing an aggressive deck, you now have a 2/2 with menace. And then you just swing until they can either remove it or block it. Now, we're going to get on to our 2-drops, which we're running 3 different ones of. Alright, next what we're going to go with is Kessig Forge Master. A 2-mana, 1-red, 1 colorless, 2/1 human werewolf. Whenever it blocks or becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to the creature that's blocking it or blocks it, or that it blocks. Overall, this is a great card regardless of what your elitist magic friends say. I've had this kill so many humans against my friends' decks, and when it flips, it becomes even better. It becomes a 3/2 that deals 2 damage, so it can kill a little tougher humans. You're going to be running 3 of them, of course. You don't want to play set because you've got other stuff in there that is still much better than this. Alright, now we're going to be getting into our next 2-drop, which is a playset of Duskwatch Recruiter. It's a 2-mana, 2/2 human werewolf that, for green and a colorless, you can play. And then its ability is 1 green, 2 colorless. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a creature card. If you do, put it in your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. This is fucking perfect early game. You play this on turn 2. Turn 3, you activate that ability, assuming you've already got a Village Messenger out. You now have a 2/2 with menace and a 3/3 that makes your shit cost less. And then turn 4, unleash your hand full of werewolves. Everything flips. Pass the turn again. Everything flips again. It's fucking perfect. you need to run a playset of this, but you might want to get them now. They're like $3 each. And finally, for our last 2-drop creature spell, we have a playset of Lambhold Pacifist. It's a 1 green, 1 colorless, 3/3 human werewolf. It cannot attack unless you have a creature with power 4 or greater. When it transforms, it becomes a creature with power 4 and toughness 4. It's both good and bad in some retrospects, or some, you know. It is a 2 mana 3/3 blocker, at least, and in this deck, it is actually pretty easy to let it attack. And I'll show you some pump stuff in a little bit, but some people don't like it simply because it can't attack until you get something bigger. Personally, it doesn't matter to me, because even if this guy can't attack, it's still a blocker to use whenever you've already swung with all your other werewolves. Run a playset, no more. You can't really run anymore, but no less. Alright, next we're going to be getting into our 3-drops, and this is going to be it's going to be one of your best and worst werewolves in certain matchups. Best against control, worst against pretty much anything else. Simply because, yes, it is a decent blocker, but no one's really going to try and play spells during your turn, because then you'll be drawing a shit ton of cards. But when they do, again, you're drawing a shit ton of cards. When it transforms, it becomes a bigger blocker, but again, they're not going to try and play any more spells during your turn, because you'll be drawing even more cards. That's why I'm only running 2, and I'm going to say it's probably one of the most least impactful werewolves in this deck. Alright, next we're going to be running 3 Breakneck Rider. It is a living pump spell once it's transformed. It starts off as a little vanilla guy, 3/3, but when it transforms, 4/3 that makes all of your attacking creatures get stronger, and it gives them trample. Run 3 of them, because there are a few other goodies in this deck you want to make room for. Alright, now for the last creature and last playset of creature playset in the deck. Gyre Reach Bandit. It's a 3/2 with haste, and when it transforms, it becomes the key to your deck. It becomes Vilden Pack Alpha, a 4/3 that has the ability, whenever a werewolf enters the battlefield under your control, transform it. This is the Piece de la Resistance, the werewolf godfather in this deck, pretty much. This guy makes all of your guys better just by playing him. You get this guy out, he's transformed, and he's Vilden Pack now. You play that Village Messenger, you get a 2/2 with haste and menace for 1 mana. Duskwatch Recruiter, you get a 3/3 that makes your shit cost less for 2 mana. It just makes this deck so hilarious. What you want to do, though, you want to get Duskwatch Recruiter out transformed, play this guy, let him flip, then just unleash your hand of werewolves, and then they're all transformed. And then just swing with everything that you can. Run a playset. Don't run any less. Alright, now I've got 2 more flip cards to show you, and then we're done. The first one of the last 2 that I'm going to show you is Arlinn Cord, the Werewolf Planeswalker. Of course, I'm going to put this in the deck. It's just too perfect. What Arlinn Cord does is, it's a token generator, anthem effect, burner, and just overall monster. If you can ultimate her, you pretty much win the game, especially if you've got enough werewolves out. We'll only run 2 of them because of the fact she's a planeswalker and not a creature or another kind of spell that we can use. She's going to be targeted a lot in this deck. So I only run 2 of them because probably just going to die really quickly. Now for the final flip card in the deck, Neglected Heirloom, which becomes Ashmouth Blade. This is so broken in this deck. You put this on a werewolf that's going to transform pretty soon, your werewolf just got so much fucking powerful. I used this against a green-black homebrew Eldrazi deck the other night with a Lambhold Pacifist. I put 2 Neglected Heirlooms on it, let it transform into Lambhold Butcher. I ended up having a 10/10, and then I gave it trample and +1/+1, and my opponent couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop an 11/11 werewolf with trample and first strike. It was too perfect. Too fucking perfect. But I got a little off track. Again, run 2 of these guys because they're good, but they're not so good you want to use a playset of. Alright, and for your non-creature stuff, this is what we're going to be running. Playset of Halpak Resurgence, because this is really what makes your deck competitive. It's a flash enchantment that gives your werewolves +1/+1 and trample, and it also affects your wolves. So if you have your werewolves and you have Arlinn out, you make that wolf, this wolf's going to get a bonus from Halpak Resurgence. Run a playset. Run a damn playset, because this is what makes your deck really competitive. Next, you're going to be running really your only removal spell, Moonlight Hunt. You choose a creature your opponents control. All of your werewolves deal damage to that creature equal to their power. It doesn't make them fight, so you don't have to risk losing a creature. But you've got to get enough werewolves to kill some things out there. I was tempted to run 4, but I decided to run 3 simply because of the next card, Atarkas Command. Run 2 of these guys. However, if you want, you can do what I did recently, which was I switched out Arlinn Cord for 2 more Atarkas Command to give it more of an aggressive feeling due to how the meta was that week. What Atarkas Command does is it's the other card that makes your deck competitive. Prevents your opponents from gaining life, it burns them for 3, pumps your guys up, and lets you put a land from your hand onto the field. Instant speed, this is just fucking perfect. Run 2 to a playset. If you run a playset, though, take out your Arlinn Cords. But that's it for the main board. Now let's get on to the sideboard. Okay, so quite literally what your sideboard is spot removal. That's all it is. That's all it needs to be. You're going to be running 2 Avacyn's Judgment. I'm tempted to change that and simply use Burn Within, simply because I can use Burn Within at the same speed of Avacyn's Judgment and deal more damage to, a creature, because it's generally what you're going to want to use it on. Next, we're running a playset of Rending Volley. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. This card is perfect in most metas, because I play against Bant Company, Esper Dragons, those kind of things. And humans, of course. And this is an uncounterable 4 damage to a blue or white creature. Perfect for 1-drop instant speed. Run a playset. Next, we're going with a playset of Roast. 2 mana sorcery, 1 red, 1 colorless. Deal 5 damage to target creature without flying. This is both good and bad. Ideally, you want your werewolf deck to be reactive to your opponent's stuff, to constantly have a combat trick or something, but that's not always the case, which is why I have Roast. This is, a sorcery, so you can only use it during your turn and on your main phases, but still, it's good enough to take out an Avacyn, a Consul's Lieutenant, Thalia's Lieutenant, that kind of stuff. Again, run a playset on that. And now for the last 2 cards of the sideboard. Clip Wings, 1 green, 1 colorless instant. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. This is there simply for dragons and Avacyn and Angel of Tides. That's the only reason why I use it. This is more so based on Avacyn. In case I don't have one of my burn spells, I can play this and make my opponent sacrifice it, because, she's got flash, so she'll probably be indestructible when I use this. And then we're going to be running 3 Tears of Valakut. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. This is Rending Volley for flyers. 1 red, 1 colorless, instant sorcery, cannot be countered by spells or abilities. Deals 5 damage to target creature with flying. This hits Angel, the dragon, the red angel, Avacyn. It hits all the dragons. It hits anything with flying, and generally they're not even going to be that tough. They're going to be 4/4s and 5/5s, so they're perfect for this. Anyway, we'll run 3 of them. I am tempted to change it up and run a playset though. But anyway, guys, that is the deck. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed my very first YouTube Magic the Gathering video. I am going to be planning to do more of these on a weekly basis. One on Monday, hopefully one on Friday, just see how things work out. Um, but this is something I'm passionate about, so I am going to keep trying to do it. But I hope you guys like this deck. If you have any suggestions or anything like that, please leave them in the comments. Just be respectful about it. I don't want to hear, "Oh my God, this deck sucks." No, just don't be a cunt. If you have a suggestion, please leave it in the comments. Otherwise, please like, favorite, subscribe this video if you enjoyed it. I could always use more subscribers, etc., etc. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching and have a great one.